going on? Check a couple things before we get started. Let people roll in. Make sure we got the links posted. Let's get a poll in the chat too. It's always fun. I got a poll going. So if you're in mobile, you're not going to be able to see the poll. But if you are in the normal live stream, make sure you cast your vote. Turn this music down some. I was kind of vibing out before I started the stream, so it was quite loud. What is up? Everybody doing good? Good Thursday? Thursday for the boys. We broke 1,800 subscribers, which to me is like absolutely insane. But it sounds small again, you know? Now I feel like it's got to be every 5,000 we could celebrate. Still though, massive. Appreciate it. Huge. Love the support. Thank you so much. Every single one of you guys is subscribed. Every single one of you guys is subscribed. Leave comments. All that stuff. It's just... it's so cool. It's awesome. Make sure chat works. Multi-streaming like usual tonight. So we got the YouTube short vertical feed, and then we got the horizontal feed as well. Nice. Sweet. How's that music level? It's always so hard for me to tell because I have my headphones on, but I don't hear the same thing you guys do. So I want it nice and chill, but still there. You know what I mean? So we got a couple topics tonight. I think we're gonna actually watch some videos too. Gonna like react to some videos. I think that'd be pretty fun. Hang out, see what everybody's, you know, getting up to on this Thursday evening. Hopefully we get some conversation going, get some chatting. Last 2 weeks in a row, we got a lot of people from Germany popping in, which was pretty cool. Like night owls over there. Everybody's up. I don't even know what they're doing. Eating sausage and sauerkraut or something. I have no idea. But, you know, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning over there, and they're like popping into the live stream every week. So it's pretty cool. Hopefully we see that again. That'd be appreciated. But yeah, then we got two this way. We got two topics we're going to go over as well, but we'll probably watch some videos first before I get into that, just to kind of to save some of the, you know, to save some of the good stuff for later. But so the pretty much the way that it will go is we're going to react to some videos here in a few minutes after we get like let people roll in. And then after we react to those, we'll hit the first topic, and then the first topic tonight is going to be talking about building trust. And it's not really about like rebuilding trust. It's about like how it's kind of like a muscle. You know what I mean? Like you actually have to like work at building your ability to trust. What's up, Artsy? Artsy Salamander. That's a sick name. I love that name. Hey, Artsy, make sure you vote in the poll so I can see if it's working correctly, okay? What are you up to this evening? Besides being an artsy salamander. Just hanging out? I was just telling people kind of the flow of the live stream tonight. So again, just to recap, we're gonna hang out, let some people, you know. You just got, oh, you're distracting me with these. You got rizzed up by your friend, huh? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Could go either way, right? Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, for sure. It depends on the friend, I suppose. But yeah, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna chat for a bit, and then we're gonna react to some videos, and then we're gonna hit the first topic, which is the building trust, like we were talking about. And then after that, we're gonna move on, chat some more. Then boom, we're gonna hit the second topic tonight, which is just about people changing. You know, friends change, family changes, and just kind of like how to flow through that gracefully and not take it too personally. So you don't care? Like, so this was this friend rizzed you up, and it was kind of like, you're kind of like, nah, you know, like take it or leave it kind of vibe, or what? Check a couple things. I mean, depending on how bored you are, Artsy, it might, you know, might not be necessarily a bad thing. That's funny. And my other question for you, was it completely out of the blue? You know what I mean? Like, was it like, whoa, I thought we were just friends, you know, that type of deal? Because that can change things. Can absolutely change things. Oh man, that's too funny. Yeah, I'll just hang out a couple more minutes, chat with you folks, see how your night's going. So for those that can't see, Artsy says, yeah, like we were just talking about gaming and he just randomly rizzed me up. Well, geez. I mean, what game was it? Was it Battlefield 6? And there you were, like crouched over him, reviving him. And then he's like, Oh my god, I love you so much. Because that might make me riz you up too, you know? It's all about the context. The context matters. The context matters. Absolutely. But either way, I hope you still stay friends with them. You know? Which Zelda? This is, you know, like, what Zelda are you talking about? Because this will be how I judge you, you know, based on what Zelda you're talking about. Okay, all right, Breath of the Wild. Okay, yep. And he damn near fell in love with you, didn't he? Where are you from, Artsy? Are you from the States or are you from another country? Breath of the Wild's a good game. I haven't played it personally, but I've only heard like good things about it, so you know. From Russia, but in Canada. So Link literally flirts with every girl in the game, huh? That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, you're like, man, Link just flirts with everybody in the game, and he's like, about that. Let me flirt with you. Even the fish person. Yeah. That's kind of funny. I'm trying to think, like, is that a Breath of the Wild thing, or is that like, you know, most of the Zelda games now, that's the way that it is, you know? Because I'm like trying to think, like, you know, Majora's Mask and Link to a Past and all that stuff, you know? I don't really remember that, but you know. Also, too, sometimes those games can be like, I don't know if it's a culture thing or what, but sometimes like the Japanese sense of humor is a little different, you know. Mostly just Breath of the Wild. Yeah, and Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I wonder why they like decided to start going that route with things, you know? Like, I doubt there was like people I doubt there was like people complaining like, you know what this game needs? It needs more flirting. That's what it needs. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't like sat down to play a game like that in a while. Like just, a single player game like a Final Fantasy or something like that. Like when I do hop on to games, it tends to be either like an MMO. Like right now, New World just dropped like a new he kind of flirts with the stable girl too. Yeah. New World just dropped a new expansion and I was kind of messing around with that a little bit, but I find myself like I used to be able to just like sit there and like play all day, and now it's kind of like shorter bursts. Like I can kind of deal with like half hour to an hour at a time, and then I kind of need a break. I don't know. If it feels like my job, I don't like it. Like I don't want my games to feel like my job. That is not, it's not relaxing to me. Have you played the new Monster Hunter? That seems like a game that somebody who likes Breath of the Wild would also like. Monster Hunter World, I think. And the art style in Monster Hunter looks pretty cool too. Your brother has it? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I recommend it. Like, if you I think you'd probably like it. Like if you like that type of game, I think you should check it out and give it a shot. I think it's a little demanding on. Yeah, Silk Song, Black Myth. Black Myth Wukong probably should have got like Game of the Year or whatever. They kind of got robbed. I have heard good things about Silk Song, but I have not played it, or I don't think I've even seen a trailer for it, to be honest. Which is crazy because like I've heard people talking about it, but I have not seen it. I think Black Myth Wukong probably would have won if they didn't have like the little bit of like the political, social drama around it, Yep. Yep. What do you think should have got Game of the Year? A lot of people said that about Astrobot. Like, I don't know. Like, they weren't like saying like, oh, it's horrible. They're just sort of like, really? That's Game of the Year, out of all of the other options that came out. If Expedition 33 doesn't get Game of the Year this year, I think that'll be a robbery. It's just like I played it like talking about Expedition 33. Like I was playing it quite a bit, and then like the weather started getting nice and stuff, and so I didn't finish it. I took a break and went outside and everything. And now that like fall's coming around and winter again, like I'll definitely be like hunkering down and finishing that game just because it's so good. So good. Yeah, so we broke 1,800 subscribers and broke 200,000 views. I mean, cannot complain with those numbers. Especially since the channel's not even a year old yet. Yeah, Artsy, be sure to like and subscribe, turn notifications on too. Go to the channel, I have a whole bunch of, you know, actual like long form videos that are pretty interesting. Yep, so I gotta look into it. So if you think Silk Song might, so you think that one, you think Silk Song is better than Expedition 33? I have heard quite a few people talking about it, so that definitely says something, you know what I mean? All right, let's see. Let me check something out real quick here. Let me kill this music real quick. And let's see. Let's watch this trailer. Let me see what this is all about. Ooh, the art is beautiful. Wow. Yeah. The art is pretty beautiful. Not gonna lie. Wow. That's pretty cool. For being a side scroller, like, that's pretty impressive. Because a lot of times with side scrollers, there's like I don't know, there's not a lot of depth to the game. You just like run from left to right, don't fall in holes, you know what I mean? But this looks cool. Wow. It definitely looks. Yeah, that's cool. It definitely looks like a cool game, you know? So yeah, like a lot of times with the, you know, side scrollers, like I was saying, there's really not a lot to them. It's just kind of like, oh, hey, go left to right and jump over the pits and don't fall, you know, don't fall in the holes. But that seemed like it had a lot of depth to it. So I might have to check it out, depending on how much it is too. You know what I mean? Like if it's real expensive, then you know, I'll wait because I still got to get through Expedition 33. But after that, you know, how many hours in of gameplay would you say is in Silk Song? Like enough hours in the game to make it worth purchasing? That's always like my, you know. Wow. That's quite a bit of content then. 30 to 50 hours. That's not bad, you know? That's not bad. I feel like it's a controller game. You need to play it on a controller. Which I probably could just buy a cheap controller, but I don't have a controller. I'm kind of diehard keyboard and mouse, but you know, I can change my ways. Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah, if I just bought like a... Yeah. Yeah. Most games, like you know, if they come out on the computer, like you can play them with a keyboard and mouse, but a lot of times, some of them you can just tell, like, okay, this one was made for controller, really. All right, I'm gonna set up the React video content because I want to get into watching some of that. And honestly, I haven't seen these. I just looked at, the title and I was like, hey, that seems like it would be something to watch. The audience would like it. So, go back to killing that music. Boom. So I stream. You asked how often do I stream? I stream every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then I've been kind of jumping on randomly, like throughout the week, just kind of like from 1 to 2 or something in the afternoon, just kind of chatting with people. It's a little less formal, you know, but every scheduled stream is every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so let's check out this video and let's react to it. So this video is called Loneliness Isn't a Punishment, It's Peace. Let's see what this guy has to say.
Sometimes you just find yourself alone. No company, no calls, no unnecessary words. At first, it feels like emptiness. Something inside you tries to bring back the familiar noise.
All right, so this guy's like got to drop some knowledge. It sounds like he has some good knowledge, but my knowledge says don't record a video right next to a road. That would be my tip to him would be, hey, why are you filming right there? It looks kind of pretty, but there's literally like a parking lot or a road right behind you. So the video is not very long. It's like 3 minutes long, so we'll get through the audio and we'll see if he has anything good to say.
the messages, the people, the movement. But then silence comes. The kind you don't run from, the kind you listen to. You start to see who was truly there and who was just filling the poses.
Okay.
You realize that loneliness isn't punishment, it's a filter. It separates what's real from what's just noise.
Noise, yeah.
When there's no
like the
one around,
fucking
you
moped behind you.
meet yourself without any roles and without any masks. And it's strange because sometimes you barely recognize who you are.
I'm sorry. I can't get through it. I can't get through that one. You know, he has good things to say, I can tell, but my God, I can't deal with listening to traffic wherever he is, you know, which is a bummer. So I'm basically just going to riff off of what he was saying, which is basically he's saying loneliness is a gift because it filters out the noise that you never really needed in the first place. And I agree with what he's saying. I think a lot of times we like mistake connection and value and importance with like stimulation. You know, if we're like always going out and hanging out with friends, they must be good friends. Well, it's not necessarily the case. Like, you know, would those same friends want to come over and just sit and do nothing with you and just talk? Or are they always wanting to go out and do things, you know, in a big social setting? Because you might be overvaluing it and you're just one in a group, you know, but you don't really mean much to the group as a whole. And so sometimes when you step away from all of that, you're left with the friends that will reach out to you first, see how things are going, checking in on you. Like you kind of, it filters it, you know, it filters out all of the fakeness. And what's left is a little bit more pure, but there's less of it. So sometimes it can feel lonely, you know? So Artsy, you said, I'm normally just alone because no one in my school is ever telling the truth about themselves. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, you know, and I think most people as they get older hit this point, like when people are younger, and I don't know how old you are, but when people are younger, they tend to deal or be able to deal with fake people more easily. And as you get older, it gets harder and harder to fake a smile at someone who you know is fake or is just giving you some bullshit. And I think it's because, like, as you get older too, you realize that time is really the limiting factor in our life. You know, how much time we have on this earth. And so it gets harder and harder to waste those minutes on someone who is just not genuine, you know? And I personally would rather be alone than in a room full of fake people, you know? Because that's just, that type of interaction isn't what feeds, it isn't what recharges my battery. You know, if I go out in a social setting and it's just a bunch of surface level people, you know, bullshitting each other, when I come home, I feel personally more exhausted than when I went out. And then it's like, well, what's the point? I come home, I'm feeling tired from that experience, and I didn't even really have much fun because, you know, I look around and I'm like, I don't really think any of these people are my actual real friend. You know, they just wanted more people to show up to the event. So, but it's a bummer. The audio on this killed me. You know, I wanted to give him a shot, but I can't do it. So let's go on to the next video.
You want to know?
And this one is called The Truth Women Don't Want You to Know, but You Need to Hear It. All right. So let's see what she has to say.
The truth about things women don't want you to know. It exposes everything that they haven't healed yet. Let's talk about it. Most women crave control, right? Not because they necessarily want to lead, but because they don't feel safe enough to let go. When she doesn't trust a man's strength, she becomes that strength. She starts micromanaging, testing him, and trying to dominate every situation, but that's not power.
Okay, I agree with where she's coming at with this. So, like, this is definitely something that I have seen women do in relationships, but I don't think it's coming from a place of not feeling safe or anything to do with safety or trusting. It sounds bad, but I really think it's more like a little kid testing their boundaries. And most men, they don't tell women no. You know, they don't tell women no because they are so, happy wife, happy life, that type of thing. They're so wrapped up in making sure that what they do makes their woman happy, that it just like chips away at who the man actually is, Like in the beginning of a relationship, the man might be like, yeah, every whatever, 3 nights a week, I go to the gym after work. And then after a while, sometimes the woman might be like, babe, I know I know tonight's a gym night, but can we just hang out, like watch a movie or whatever? And the shitty thing is that if the man says yes because he wants his partner to be happy, she loses respect for him. And it doesn't really lead to happiness, which is sad because the man is like trying to do the right thing, but it's the wrong thing. And in reality, he gains more respect by saying, no, I'm sorry, babe. Like, Wednesdays are my gym night. Like, let's watch a movie tomorrow night. It's those tests, which she's talking about, those tests. You fail too many of those tests and shit gets dried up real quick. Be like the Sahara Desert.
That is her fear in disguise. Here's another truth. Most women confuse emotional chaos with actual connection. If peace feels foreign to her, she'll mistake calm for boredom and she'll want to jump ship. That is why she...
Baby, speak my language now. It's like you're reading my history. This is absolutely 100% true. And it's sad. It's so sad because I tried to explain it one time to somebody. And I said there's a certain type of woman out there, and again, generalizing, not talking about all women, but there's a certain type of woman out there that say there's 2 men, guy A, guy B, okay? Guy A will treat her nice and lovingly and everything 90% of the time. Okay. Guy B, it's reversed. He'll treat her like shit 90% of the time, and he'll be nice and lovey 10% of the time. Some women will value that 10% of niceness and love from guy B over 90% love and affection from guy A, because they feel like they have to work harder for it. Like it's rarer. So therefore it must mean more when it does come around. It's like, oh yeah, you know, fucking Kyle's a real dick, but every once in a while he's nice, so I keep him around, you know? And it's like, it's so toxic. Just go find a guy that treats you nice most of the time. And I say 90% of the time because no one's perfect, right? You know, but they get bored. And that's so sad because what ends up happening to everybody is looks fade. You know, as we get older, our looks fade. And that is typically the first thing that we notice about somebody else. And then a relationship forms after that. So there's like attraction first. That's why you even start to talk to somebody. And then after that, you know, a relationship and a bond is created. So all these women that keep hopping around because it's like exciting and stuff like that, eventually they're going to age too. And their ability to hop from relationship to relationship is going to go down. And then at some point, they're going to be stuck and they're going to be lonely and they're going to be looking back being like, well, I did have a couple good relationships there. And, you know, I don't know why I left them, but, you know, I got bored or whatever. Well, when you're 70 and alone, that's going to be real boredom. So, yeah, I'll check in after. Artsy, I just saw your comment. We'll chat about that after this video. It's not super long. So let's get back to her talking about women getting bored with nice people, nice men.
She will always chase the man who hurts her and pull away from the one who grounds her. Mm-hmm. She's not in love. She's addicted to adrenaline. You know what else? A lot of women preach divine feminine energy, but still operate from reactivity. They cry, they blame, they manipulate, then call it, it's just my emotions. That is not feminine power. Feminine power is knowing how to regulate your own emotions. It's being able to feel.
Yeah. Okay. So, man or woman, it is nobody else's responsibility to make you happy and regulate your emotion besides you, yourself. They are your emotions. Your partner should amplify the good emotions and the good feelings. They should reduce your stress. But your partner is not responsible for making you happy every single day. They should make you happier, but they should not be the sole reason that you are happy. And I think most people, men, women, they don't seek out the things that make them happy. And then they find a partner and they're like, yes, you make me happy. Okay. But they should make you happier. So go find some hobbies and something that fulfills you outside of your relationship, and you will be a happier person and you'll demand less from your partner. And I think that's a huge thing. And I think more women in general need more hobbies anyways, because it seems to be most of the time, and I know this is kind of like, some people get mad at this, but most of the time, men tend to be the ones that have hobbies. And for women, their boyfriend or their husband, like, is their hobby, right? It's like, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm having Seth put up some shelves or whatever. You know, it's like controlling their boyfriend. This is so fun. I want to do this every weekend. No, you can't play golf. We need to start the garden. Build a chicken coop, you know.
Feel everything without projecting it. And the one that'll sting the most. Women say they want honesty, but they can't handle it. The moment a man tells her the truth, she takes it personally instead of with power. That is not vulnerability. That is emotional immaturity. When a woman lacks emotional intelligence, she will weaponize
It'll be a couple hours,
emotion
Artsy.
to win.
Usually a couple
Tears,
hours.
Silence, guilt, deflection. It's not always conscious, but it's still manipulation. And for the women watching this, listen closely. The more you hate on men, the more you are revealing your own unhealed pain towards them. It's never all men. It's a man who hurt you in the past and you still haven't let it go.
Yeah. And that, I mean, we're gonna get into that in the next topic that we go over, which is trust. I think that a lot of men that dated women and got burned, it's hard not to have resentment towards the opposite sex after you've lived any amount of time on the planet. You know, the hard part is not letting it consume you and sort of like fog your vision and taint everything, right? Because that pain will always be there. Hey, see ya, Artsy. See ya. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it.
The truth is, most women want a man to lead, yes, but their ego won't allow it, or they won't even admit it. They want to feel safe enough to surrender, but that safety requires trust, and trust requires surrender. Do you see the loop? Emotional intelligence is your superpower, but until you learn to regulate what you feel instead of project it, you're going to keep mistaking control for confidence and independence for actual healing. Men, pay attention. A healed woman does not need to be tamed. She wants to be led by presence, not pressure. And women, stop confusing your wounds with your worth. When you heal, softness stops feeling like weakness, and submission starts to feel like actual freedom, and you will be happier. So those are the secrets. The feminine woman doesn't lose her power when she surrenders to a masculine man. She amplifies it. And that's what every real man is waiting for.
Hey, it's Christine.
All right, so let's chat about that real quick. That was a good video, and for the most part, I do agree with what she was saying. I think there is like a little bit of like some woo-wooey in there, and I think that that's just kind of like the difference between like how men and women communicate. Like, I rarely ever talk about feeling safe, and I definitely don't ever really talk about feeling emotionally safe. And I think some of these words have been sort of like redefined, you know what I mean? Like safe, safety, you know, it's like everything's like taken to the extreme. But I think a lot of times when a man puts a boundary in place, it can be seen as some sort of like control mechanism. And in reality, everybody has boundaries. Everybody should have boundaries. But the important part is to know your boundaries before you go into the relationship. So then you can sit down and you can say like, hey, these are my boundaries. These are my non-negotiables. If you agree to these, we can continue to date and have a relationship. But if you don't, and these are a problem, that's fine, but we're going to go our separate ways. We probably just saved each other, 3 years of our lives figuring this out. And of course, you want to ask them what their non-negotiables are too before you start the relationship. So it goes both ways. But for whatever reason nowadays, if a man specifically says anything about a boundary, or I don't feel comfortable with you doing this, or I don't want you to do that, it's like seen as controlling. And I'm sure that everybody has a boundary somewhere, right? And I'm just going to use like a super extreme example. But what if a man was like, I don't know what, like cheating. Cheating is usually a boundary for everybody, right? But if a girl is like, hey, I have a boundary here, no cheating, the man wouldn't be like, oh my God, you are so controlling. That's misandry right there. Oh my God. It would just be like, okay, yeah, obviously, But as obvious as that boundary is to people, everybody has their own personal boundary that they feel just as strongly about, but it just might not be that, So the biggest thing is people need to sit down ahead of time and figure this shit out before they actually start dating. Because if not, you're learning along the way, which we all are. We're all learning as we go. But maybe if you put a little forethought into it, it wouldn't hurt so bad stumbling and failing along the way, you know? Kind of like when you learn to ride a bike, you're like, I might fall off this bike quite a bit. I should probably put a helmet on. Kind of the same thing with dating, Like, hey, I don't want to be involved with a person that isn't aligned with my values, so maybe I should think about what my values are and then go from there. That was good, though. All right, let's check out the next video. Bang through these. So this one is how dating women made her understand men. And this is a content creator called Christine Grace Smith. She's actually reacting to a different content creator. So we are reacting to someone else's reaction of a video. But it's two women talking, so I think it would be valuable for us to pay attention. So, all right, let's get into it.
Grace, welcome back to my channel. Today is another reaction video. Like the video on your way in, let's get straight into it. So, this video was sent in to me via email. Thank you very much for sending it over. And it is called Dating Women Made Me Understand Men. It's from a YouTuber called Anna Akana. And the video is quite old. It's about 6 years old, actually, and it's got 8.6 million views. So, I imagine there's something to what she's saying, so let's check it out together.
So as you may remember, I came out as bisexual last year, and since then I have been dating women. And what I found very fascinating is that the more I date women, the more I find myself understanding heterosexual men. Let me explain. Exhibit A. I was on a first date with a girl who asked me out, by the way, this is relevant, because when the check came, she never once made a move to pay. Not even like the fake, let me reach for my purse move. And though I don't mind paying on a date, part of me felt like, the offer would have been nice. I was also 100%. A little taken aback.
It's about the
irony
offer.
Screams, doesn't it? It just screams through the screen.
That she didn't even say thank you. And I never heard from her again. It really made me feel like she just asked me out so she could have a free dinner. And the moment I thought...
Okay.
Yeah.
I get why you sent this. Okay, let's continue.
That, I was like, oh my God, I sound like all of my guy friends right now. And my argument against why guys should pay for dates has always been like, look, girls take hours to get ready.
Oh my God, it's such
is
bullshit.
looking really nice for you.
No.
Yeah, the age-old argument that completely just fails all logical and critical thinking.
Exactly.
skills. That is not a reason as to why you are entitled to a free meal from
100%, because most of the time, most men don't even need or want that level of fakery, Like, yeah, I want to go on a date with you, but please first, I want you to spend hours looking like an entirely different person. Yeah. Awesome. No, nobody wants that.
a complete stranger when you're not even promising that anything else is going to come from it. And I don't even mean sexually. I just mean, you're not even promising that there's going to be a second date. And even still, first dates, you're there to see if you like the person.
Yeah.
So,
testing phase.
If you don't want to pay, don't go on a date that's going to cost you money. Go for a walk in the park. If a guy does pay, I think that's lovely. And
so true.
it is a tradition that men would court women, but we don't live in that world anymore. So if you don't want to pay for a date, don't ask to go somewhere where someone's going to have to pay. Unless you're willing to pay, don't go on the date at all, because otherwise what are you doing? You are just robbing someone of their money for no reason.
Yeah, but the only problem with that is there's all these videos online like absolutely roasting men for choosing a date that had nothing to do with them paying, right? Like a walk in the park. Then it's like, oh, well, if you're a brokey, just say so. If you're a broke boy, just say so. Which I think should be a way for you to screen out shitty people in general, because if they're only going on a date with you because you're going to take them somewhere really expensive, that should kind of tell you that they're not really interested in you. They're interested in where you're taking them. You know, they want to go eat at that steakhouse that they've never been to before. And so that's what's getting them excited, not getting to know you. You know what I mean?
Costs money too. But we were both girls in this situation. We both took hours to get ready, so I definitely felt slighted. Exhibit B. On another date, I went back to a girl's house and I ended up making friends with her cat. That's not a pun. I'm talking about her literal actual animal.
Yeah.
And she said, "Wow, my cat never likes anyone. I better go out and buy a wedding dress." And again, I felt like I got some serious perspective. I have been guilty
That's
of making
great.
these kinds of jokes on dates with men. I never really thought anything of it. I was just being silly. But then when I was on the receiving end of it, I suddenly understood the panic. And
Yeah.
finally, Exhibit C. One girl invited me back into her house, and her specific words were, "Do you want to come in and make out?" Obviously, I'm like, "Yeah, you're really pretty. I want to press my face to yours." But then when we got there, we both just sat on the couch and she talked till like 3 a.m. And I was like, "Yo, girl, I gotta wake up at like 6 a.m. I was told there would be kisses here. There are no kisses." And like, look, I don't want to sound like an asshole. Like, I don't mind talking. I love talking.
Yeah. I'm glad that she was that direct about it. That doesn't happen very often. And I would say that in this case, she, although didn't follow through with it, as a man, it would be so much simpler if women said that, because then there's this awkward thing where it's like, you know, hey, you want to come up and have a drink or hang out a little longer? And there's like this implied context behind it that means like some sort of physical sexual thing. But since it's not said, you then have to move into phase 2, where you have to slowly move towards that and like read all these reactions. And nowadays it's even scarier for a man, because there's a whole thing where they're like in your apartment and they could say that they felt pressured and you wouldn't let them leave. And in reality, you just sat on the couch and talked till 3 a.m, like this girl is talking about. But it's just a lot. It's just a lot, you know? And it would be way nicer if you could be like, "Hey, so you want to come up and bang?" And then the girl would be like, "Yeah, I do." Fucking fantastic. But you gotta like pussyfoot around it, and you know, you don't want to make her feel like a hoe, so you can't just say that. So you got to do all these dancing around things, but like that is what leads to all of this ambiguity and confusion, and it makes it as clear as mud, because you cannot be direct because it's insulting. But it's like, okay, well, how do I get consent here then? Because it's all about getting consent nowadays. It's like, Jesus, you like fucking made it more complicated on yourselves.
But she could have said, "Do you want to come in and just talk?" And I would have had totally different expectations for the evening. You know, finally I started falling asleep and I was like, "Hey, I gotta go." And I gave her one kiss and left. And I felt sad that the amount of kisses promised did not equal the amount of kisses delivered. And once again,
Okay, the dramatic music really does give it a theatrical effect. Yeah, but isn't it funny how when she says it, it's, you know, you got all these cute visuals and stuff, and it's like, ah ha 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 ha, like, I understand men now, this is quite funny. And what she's saying is absolutely true. But again, it's that double standard here. At the end of the day, if a guy was to say something like this, like, "Yeah, I want to come in," and I just had to sit there and listen to her talk for hours, oh my gosh, what he would get painted as, I don't even really want to go into. But the narrative
That's a very good
around
point.
Men having this exact same view isn't this kind of cutesy, oh, I was
that's a
disappointed
solid point.
that I
I'm
didn't
glad
get
she brought that
anything
up
from it,
and
when she
worded it
promised
that
there
way.
would be something. No, it's a lot darker. Men don't get to get away with this cutesy kind of,
No.
you know, I just wanted more kisses. If a man says, I just wanted more kisses, he gets portrayed as some kind of predator, some kind of villain. So
like
she
a deviant,
understands
you know?
men, but
all you want is this one thing.
she can understand that initial confrontation with a woman. Maybe confrontation is the wrong word, but she can understand that initial interaction with a woman. But she can't actually understand what it's like to be a dude in that situation, because a dude can't get away with talking about it. For example, a dude can't get away with talking in a YouTube video like this lady is about the experience that he had, and being able to get away with saying the things that she's saying right now.
That's because as a man, you're not allowed to want that. Like, this is coming across her like exactly what she's saying. Her being able to say that she wanted to go upstairs and make out with that girl, and that was her expectation, that was what she wanted, is fine because it's coming from a woman. But it's not okay for men to admit that we want sexual things. That it's like not allowed. It's like society wants us to evolve past that. You know, and it's like, I'm sorry, like when you're like, most men want one thing, it's like, yeah, okay, well, maybe we should assume that that might be important to men then, instead of being like, let's just try to change men and make them want something completely different. It's like, we're not going to. That's the way we're wired, you know?
I felt like a dude who was upset that I did not receive the expected physical kisses I was promised. And I wanted to talk about this because I felt like this has really been expanding my perspective when it comes to dating. I find
The music.
This is a good thing. You know, of course she can't understand. And, you know, she's a woman. So, you know, like myself, never going to be able to truly comprehend. But overall, I think it's good that she's broadening her perspective and having, hopefully, a little bit more compassion towards men.
I finally understand a lot of the complaints my male friends have about dating that I admit I would usually dismiss. But now I really get it when they say,
dating is just so expensive, man. Sometimes I feel like a girl doesn't even like me for me. She just wants, like, a boyfriend.
I wish it were
100%.
more socially expected to go Dutch on the first few dates, but you're like a jerk if you
I don't know what that means. What does that mean to go Dutch?
even suggest
Means to
it.
split the
And
check.
any experience that expands your compassion
I
and
don't know why, though.
understanding
I don't
is
know
one
why
that
it
I think
means
is
that,
worthy
but-
of sharing. So what about you? Have you had any experiences that have shifted your viewpoint dramatically? Let me know.
That was a cool video. Short one, though. But
Adventures or just blog?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad it broadened her view on things, but I think most men, I think it is rare for us to feel truly loved for who we are and not what we do and what we bring to somebody. Excuse me. You know? Like, I think if you ask any man that's like middle-aged, how many like past relationships he's had, even marriages, you know, ex-wives, things like that, how much stuff we have done for someone else. Sometimes like back-breaking labor, you know? I'm not talking about doing the laundry or cleaning and whatever. It's like, yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about projects that take hours of planning and then hours of actual physical labor to accomplish. The reverse doesn't happen. Like, how often are husbands like, hey, babe, I would really like you to build me a chicken coop. I know you don't know how to build a chicken coop. You're going to have to research that. But yeah, if you could, I really want chickens. So if you could just figure that out and make it happen for me so that I can be happy, that would be great. And then the husband's like, or, you know, then the wife's like, well, that's something that you would do, you know? It just doesn't go that way. I never see husbands or boyfriends asking the female counterpart in the relationship to do something that would literally take hours of planning and hours of labor and usually some money and all that stuff. I rarely see it go the other way at all. Like, it's pretty rare for a boyfriend or a husband to ask their wife or girlfriend to do anything for them. You know? Like, a lot of times when you hear women complain about the things that they do for men, it's stuff that the man wouldn't ever ask for anyways. It's like, listen, Debbie, I've lived by myself for many years before, and I survived not folding my washcloths 4 times in a specific way. You can do that for me, but that is not because I am asking you to do it that way, you know, or whatever. It's just like, it just doesn't happen. And so then after years of that repeated process of a man doing that for a woman and putting in all that effort, and then she just leaves, or the relationship falls apart, and the man has nothing to show for all of that effort, all of those hours, all of that money spent, all of it. It just feels like a fucking waste. And after doing it for so long and so many times, as a man, you start to get a little protective of that. And it's like, you know, hey, you want a chicken coop? Better figure out how to build it. You know, I might help you, but you get burned so many times and you have to start over so many times, and you have literally nothing to show for it. Like, you know how many past girlfriends' lives I've like improved, helped them improve their house that was never mine and it was never going to be mine, you know, or yard work, or, you know, all on and on and on and on and on. And you know what I have to show for all that? Nothing. How many times I've had animals that we bought together. How many of those animals did I get to keep? None. 0. So yeah, you know, after a while, it's like, after a while, you realize that like, it's kind of a pipe dream that you're going to be loved as a man for who you are and not what you can do or what you do for them or what you bring to the table financially or like a skill set. You know what I mean? It's, I hate to be black-pilled about it, but it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. I mean, I hit that realization a long time ago, but, you know, it is what it is. But all right, so we watched that video, and I'm not gonna like listen to her react to the next one. So I think the next one might be a little bit more funny. It's a little longer. So this one is by a creator called The Dadvocate, and she's actually pretty funny. So I'm hoping that this one will bring a little humor to it. So this is explaining bird hands theory. And it's so funny because like I was talking to my girlfriend about this like a couple months ago, you know, and I was like, why is it in these like videos, these like TikTok videos, like the women do this thing with their hands? It's, you know, especially when they have like longer fake nails, they do this thing. And after I said it to her, then I think it was Homath, the channel Homath. He coined the term bird hands. So I was like, okay, thank God I wasn't the only one that was noticing this thing. You know what I mean? I was like, it's driving me crazy. But all right, so this is her talking about this bird hand theory. Let's see what she has to say.
Bird hands. Beware.
As soon as she starts doing this with her hands when she talks, you are in danger. This is the universal hand signal of manipulation. That bird hand, that's her way of saying, shut up, while trying to inject projections and delusions straight into your brain. Her bird hands are trying to turn your brain into a bird brain. Oh, no. If you let...
Who's in charge here?
All right, that's
recognizing.
So that guy was a little extreme, but yes, this type of thing, and also clapping when they make points. I'm like, if you can't make a point without clapping your hands, then you don't have a valid point. That's just my opinion.
Bird hands is kind of a newer phenomenon amongst the social zeitgeist. Today we will be exploring what is it, where did it come from, and does it hold any merit? Let's get into it. When people refer to bird hands, they're typically referring to the specific dramatic hand motion that women do that mimics hens pecking at each other.
I love that this is a thing we're even talking about it.
Nail flicks. I personally call it Lego hands. And the overall interpretation of bird hands from men is that it's dismissive, manipulative, passive-aggressive. Now they're starting to call it out and warning each other that this social signal is actually a red flag of someone who is more likely to exert dominance.
I think it's actually like a progression of, that head weavy hand thing. So now it's this.
And manipulate a conversation. Now, a lot of you right now, specifically the Italians, might be watching this and thinking, hey, so what? I talk with my hands. That makes me the bad guy. It's this. It's this specific motion that people are talking about. Lego hand. So why are people talking about this now?
I don't know why she calls it Lego hand.
Suddenly so in agreement on this now?
Stop talking like this.
I just don't have the energy for this. I am unsubscribing from this drama.
Hey Viv, these mass deportations are going to help out real Americans, right?
Then I'm going to stop you right there.
Look at it.
I bet you're wondering
it just
how
makes my
America
blood
got
boil.
here. Well, it all started with bird hands.
It's a pretty recently emerging meme or trend to commentate on this, but I'd have to imagine that it comes from basic pattern recognition. And research throughout history supports this. Professor Albert Morabian developed the 738-55 rule. This is a rule that
she's going deep on this.
Only 7% of communication is really done through spoken word. 38% of it is more effectively communicated through the tone of your voice, and 55% of it is majoritively communicated through body language. So
absolutely. Because if not, like, why is it so hard sometimes to communicate with people through like text messages, right? And all that misunderstandings that can happen sometimes through text messages, because you can't hear their tone and you can't see their body language.
So basically, how you present yourself means a lot. And similar researchers like Ray Birdwhistle, who was an anthropologist who studied body language and gestures, seemed to agree with this, saying that really only 30 to 35% of meaning from communication comes from spoken word. That said, when it comes to the bird hands gesture in particular, men seem to have come to the common consensus that it feels patronizing. Something about it feels very, I'm going to say this very nice and slow so that you understand. But to play devil's avocado,
100%.
Are they reading into it correctly? Many other studies suggest that humans are not as good at reading body language as we think we are. For example, in this commonly cited review, it was found across 120 studies that people only detect lies with 54% accuracy.
Yeah.
That's a coin flip. In another study that delved more into...
And it's also like, that's one of the reasons why like body language experts and stuff like that are not used in legal court hearings and stuff like that. Because it's just... you could have a strong theory, you know, by like reading these signs, but it's still it's not foolproof.
To specific body languages such as fidgeting, hand motions, things like bird hands. They did find that this was not a reliable way to conclude on deception or emotions. So does this mean that men are wrong about bird hands?
No.
Not exactly. It may be incorrect to assume that every woman who uses this in conversation is trying to dominate you. But that doesn't mean she's not still accidentally sending that signal. This is where intent...
I don't think she's trying to dominate. I think what she's trying to do is more patronizing, like you're stupid, and it's dripping with attitude and like a sarcastic tone and a holier than thou message usually. And it's kind of like the nose ring theory, you know? If you don't know about the nose ring theory, Google it.
Versus impact matters, because it almost doesn't matter if men are wrong about the intention behind these gestures. If someone feels like you're being condescending, there's still an impact. It feels like there are so many areas in society where we're willing to take a step back and go, whoa, I didn't fully realize that the way that I was talking was coming across a certain way, but I'll be a lot more mindful of that in the future. Until it comes to men, like, yeah, they take up about half of the population, but all of their problems are their fault anyway. So if they're going to be upset because I look like a Lego figurine when I talk, that's their problem. Again, is the response I'd imagine we'd get from the bird handers of the world. Now listen, I do bird hands too sometimes, but when I do it, it's different. It's different when I do it. When I do it, it's just Jarl pose, okay? Huge difference. No, but seriously, men aren't going to lose complete respect for you just because you do bird hands occasionally. It's really only like one square on the red flags bingo card. You're still gonna need like 3 or 4 more to really mess up. Yeah, don't worry, he's not gonna look at your bird hands one.
Basically, if you're smacking your lips, clapping your points, and you have fake nails that are this long, which are not functional, which tell me you don't really contribute much to society, and then you are doing these motions with your hand, get fucked.
One time and be like, so you hate me? But it might be the last straw if you were already like, all of my exes were assholes. I hate drama. It just follows me. All my friends are guys because girls are just too catty for me. Then at that point, the bird hands might just break him. Might just be the straw that breaks the camel's back, you know? So now you know.
Facts.
Have you noticed bird hands while talking to people? Do you agree that it is more often seen in people who assert more
I like her
dominating
content.
or manipulative qualities?
Make sure you give her a
or
like,
do
follow.
you draw a different meaning and intention from it altogether?
Link will be in the
Do bird hands?
description after
Why?
the stream.
Do you even know? Please leave all of your thoughts and comments down below. If you enjoyed my commentary on this,
Love it.
please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell because I do go live about twice a week. Extra special shout out to my YouTube and Patreon members. If you ever need more Dadvic content, consider joining because you will get early access to videos, members only, ad-free exclusive lives, and other fun stuff, including member badges and exclusive merch. That's all I've got for you this time. I will see you in the next one.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so we're gonna watch another one here in just a second. But let's let that one marinate for a minute. I think she's right in terms of like the way things, it's not necessarily just the hand signals or the hand motions. It's typically what is also being said at that time. You know what I mean? And that the bird hands and whatnot, just sometimes it makes it harder to be receptive to the message. If that makes sense. If that makes sense. So, yeah. Ugh. It's a lot to deal with sometimes. Sometimes I'm on social media and I'm just like, nope, 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 nope. Can't handle it. Can't handle it. Can't handle it. which is sad because I'm, you know, my content is on social media and stuff too. But my content that I put out, I'm trying to make people think differently about something. You know what I mean? And I feel a lot of that like bird hand content is more like aimed at women that are already upset at men, and it's just sort of like whatever the message is, it's typically like encouraging, like, yeah, girl, feel that way. You can feel that way because I feel that way too. We both feel that way, which means it must be true. You know, that type of like gassing them up type of bullshit. So, yeah. All right, let's take a break from the reaction videos. And I want to I think I want to get into the first topic of the stream tonight, which is based around trust and building trust and whatnot. So what I usually do is I kind of use this as like a segment. And what I mean by that is I won't talk to chat for a minute. I'll do the segment and then I'll talk to chat afterwards and see what they thought about it, because I'll use that. I'll actually clip that and I'll make that into an actual YouTube video that will stand on its own. So, that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to do that one next. And then after we do that, I want to come back to chat and I want to talk about it because I think it's important. So this is going to be about trust and building trust and rebuilding trust in relationships and friendships and stuff. And then the second topic later on is just dealing with people who change. You know, we all have that one friend that used to be a super close friend and now you don't talk to him anymore. And we just want to talk about that and you know, kind of help. It's okay. It's okay that they did that, you know? All right. So again, gonna preface this by like, I'm not looking at chat for a few minutes. It's going to sound like I'm filming a video because I am filming a video. And then after that though, come right back to it and we'll get after it. Put my headphones on. Put them down here. I wrote down some notes too, so I can, you know, keep myself on track. So, all right, here we go. Remember that game we used to play as kids where one person would hold out their hands, palms up, and the other kind of hovers over. They hover theirs over yours and waiting. You're trying to wait to slap them, right? You're trying to slap and they're trying to move their hands away. I think it's called hot hands. You're supposed to react fast, right? But after you get smacked a few times, you start flinching early. Sometimes even when they don't move. That's how a lot of people show up in relationships after trauma. Okay? They've been hurt before, slapped emotionally, hopefully not physically. And now they're jumpy. They pull away at that first sign of movement, a tone, a text delay, a disagreement, anything that feels like it could hurt. When trust gets broken over and over, your body starts to predict pain before it even happens. You're not reacting to what's real. You're reacting to what was. That's why some people pull back before the argument even starts, you know? Or they'll ghost somebody before they can even get rejected. It's that same reflex, the flinch. And it's your body protecting you from the hurt that you experienced previously, the time before, the relationship before. But here's the problem. When you're living in that state, every movement feels like a threat. Someone raises their voice, you shut down. Someone needs space, you assume they're leaving. That's me for sure. Someone doesn't text back, you start to spiral. You're reading danger where there isn't any. And just like in that hand slap game, you never give the other person a chance to not hit you. The healing process isn't about pretending you're fine. It's about retraining your reflex, learning that not everyone's trying to hurt you, that sometimes hands move without harm. They move without intentionally trying to slap you. Not every raised voice means rejection or the end. Now, you can't retrain that reflex overnight. It takes time, consistency, and someone who's patient enough with you to keep their hands steady. And what I mean by that is when you're trying to build trust with somebody after being burnt in the past, them being steady and consistent and showing up the same over and over helps you become at ease. Because we're all kind of trying to recognize patterns, and especially in our partner. And it's such a comfort when you're like, I wonder what my person is doing right now. And in your mind, you know what they should be doing. And then like you give them a call and they are doing that. You know, like you're like, I wonder what my girlfriend's doing right now. Well, it's 8 o'clock, so she's probably watching, I don't know, Dancing with the Stars. Give her a call. Hey, babe, what are you doing? Oh, I'm watching Dancing with the Stars. Boom. That helps build trust. It's nothing they did. They're just being consistent with their behavior, but that is what somebody needs when they've been burnt and slapped too many times. So again, if you've got someone like that, someone showing up calmly, not reacting to your flinches, don't punish them for it. Let them show up safely. And if you're the one on the other side trying to love someone who's been through it before, understand that their fear is not personal. They're not pulling away from you. They're pulling away from just what hurt them before. You can't build trust if you keep pulling away. At some point, you've got to leave your hands out. Even just for a second longer. And let yourself learn that not everyone is going to slap them. Because healing doesn't start when the fear disappears. It starts when you decide to try again. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of this video. My name is Seth. Please like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel out immensely. And if you're still doom scrolling, check out this video over here because I'm pretty sure it's right up your alley. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. All right, chat. What do you think? That was topic number 1. I'd love to have you weigh in on it. Let's start that conversation. Herbie, what up, bro? Hey, thank you for stopping by, Herbie. I appreciate it, man. I don't know why you're always up so late. You should get some sleep. You should take some sleeping pills or something. I don't know what time it is in Germany, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. I always appreciate you stopping by. Yeah. So chat, what do you think? For one thing, first question, do you remember that game that I'm talking about where you put your hands out like this and the other person's under and they try to whack your hands and slap them as fast as possible? If you remember that, drop a 1 in chat. Because I thought about that game the other day, and I'll tell you, I'll be a little bit open here. I was experiencing, like, I know myself personally, when I feel something or perceive something that is a trigger and reminds me of a past relationship where I got burned, I tend to withdraw. Like, I tend to start like mentally preparing for it to all fall apart, you know? And it got me thinking about that, you know, that slap game, bang, because it's exactly that. Like, as soon as I feel them start to twitch, I'm like, all right, peace. You must be cheating. You must be talking to somebody else. You must be bored. You must be this. You must be that. Like, my brain goes, and I'm like preparing for pain. And I'm like, I might as well start preparing right now for the inevitable. And so I pull back, walls go up, armor goes on, however you want to explain it. And I know it is not the way that it should be. I know that. And it's something I'm trying to fix. But man, is it hard. It's so hard. It's like that game Duck, Duck, Goose, right? You're like, that's a duck, that's a duck, that's a duck, that's a duck, goose. Okay. So when you start seeing, oh, that's a duck, that's a duck, that's a duck. Last time the next one was a goose. It's so hard not to be reactive that way. And again, I know it's not right. But so it reminded me of that game. And I figured I would chat with people about it because I think there's probably other people out there that behave the same way. And you may not even know that you do it. You know, it might not even be something that you're aware of. And maybe when you see it, you don't withdraw like I do, but maybe it triggers something in you and you behave a certain way. And I just wanted to throw that out there so we can, you know, talk through it a little bit, think of things a little bit differently, and realize that if you are going to trust somebody, it doesn't mean you have to be an idiot, okay? Like, don't let them cross your boundaries, but give people a little bit of rope to prove to you that they're not going to hurt you. Because if you never give them that option, if you never give them the chance to prove themselves, you won't ever fully trust them. I will say, after you hit a certain age, you've been burned a certain amount of times, you're probably never going to fully trust somebody ever again. But man, you can get close. You know what I mean? And that's the goal. That's the goal. I'm not even sure fully trusting somebody is even smart. You know, like, I'm not really sure I would ever, if I could go back and chat with my younger self, I'm not sure I would give myself the advice to trust somebody fully. I think, in fact, I would say, hey, you should trust somebody like 95% of the way, but just know that everybody is capable of doing bad shit to you. And then you're not surprised. You're not surprised if it happens. If it happens, you know, like, your world's not like absolutely completely rocked. You know what I mean? You're just like, hey, I knew this was a risk. It was a risk, and that's just kind of what happened. I'm going to throw on some background music for a second here while we kind of get ready for the next topic here in a few. Kind of checking a couple things here. Make sure the stream sounds good. Crazy. Crazy. Broke 1,800 subscribers in less than a year. We started in March. So next March will be a year. I'm pretty sure we'll break. If I had to give a goal, so my goal was to hit 1,000 subscribers in the first year. So we did that. So I gotta change that goal. I feel like we'll probably hit 2,000 subscribers just by the end of the year, not like a full year of the channel. So I wonder if we can realistically hit 5,000 subscribers by the first year of the channel being up. You know what I mean? That'd be pretty crazy. I think it's doable, but I also think that it's a pretty lofty goal. But you know what? You gotta set goals. You have to. If not, you just kind of, I don't know, just kind of flop around. Nice. Looks like the stream's doing good. I told you we'd have somebody from Germany swing by. It's like every stream, some night owl from Germany swings by. I think it's funny. It's pretty cool, actually. Not gonna lie. It's pretty cool. Like, it just blows my mind, like hitting a button on my computer sitting here in the United States, East Coast, and having somebody listening to what I say in real time in like Germany. It's crazy. It's so cool. It's so cool. Not even gonna lie. It's fun. Like, that's one of the funnest things about streaming is just you just chat with tons of people from all over the place, you know? See what they're up to. Hang out. And I know that especially for men, there's it could be kind of lonely, you know? Like, it's the whole loneliness epidemic is a real thing. And so it's pretty cool to have viewers and subscribers pop in to the chat and say hi and hang out and, you know, hopefully not feel lonely for a little bit. So, all right. So we took care of topic 1, which was building trust. We just chatted about that. So if you missed it, sorry, you'll have to watch the recording of the stream. And then in a second here, we're going to just chat about the second topic that I wanted to go over, which is just how people change. You know, friends change, family changes, things like that. And I think we all can remember, like we can all think back through our life and remember a time when we were like really close to a certain person or a certain group or a cousin or family or whatever. And then time happens, life goes on, and suddenly you don't talk to them anymore. You're not close. And sometimes it can be kind of hurtful, you know, it can be kind of hurtful, and it doesn't have to be. And that's what I want to talk about. So in a second here, I'm going to fire that up. We're going to go over that second segment. And I explain this every single time, but the way that I do that is I'll stop the music and it will sound like I'm recording a video, because I am recording a video. I use that clip and I upload it to YouTube afterwards as its own standalone thing. So I won't talk to chat for a few minutes, but then after that, after I get done talking and filming the segment, I always pop back into chat and we actually discuss the topic that I talked about, because it's good to get everybody's feedback and see what they're thinking too. So let's prepare for that. I wrote down some notes because it keeps me on track. Sometimes it's difficult to keep my thoughts flowing the way that I want them to, especially like this late at night. Not that it's super late, but still, you get me. All right, so let me pause this music. Where are you, music? Okay. Cool. Take my headphones off. All right, let's get after this. Then after that, after I get done here, it's not very long, a couple minutes. Listen to it, and then let's chat about it. Let's see what you think. All right. You ever notice how sometimes people just change? One day you're close, you talk all the time, you're part of their routine, and then something shifts. They start showing up less, the conversations fade, and before you know it, they're not the same person that you knew. That's one of the hardest things to accept, that people are allowed to change. They're allowed to grow, to drift, to find new paths. And sometimes that means you're not part of that path anymore. Everyone is living their own story, not yours. They're living their story. And just like you have changed, and I have changed through pain, growth, or lessons, so have they. It's not always betrayal. It's not always rejection. Sometimes it's just life redirecting both of you where you're supposed to be next. But it hurts, right? Because it feels personal. You start wondering what you did wrong, what you could have done differently. But most of the time, it's not about that. People shift because of their needs, values, just their direction in life shifts, changes. They start chasing or pursuing different experiences, different goals, things that make sense for what and where they are now. And that might not include you in the same way that it used to. And guess what? It's okay. We tend to forget that we've done the same thing. I've outgrown people. I'm sure you've outgrown people too. Friends, relationships, old versions of yourself. And it wasn't because you stopped caring. It was because you needed something different to keep growing. That's not disloyalty. It's evolution. It's progress. It's growth. So the mature move isn't to chase or to guilt them. It's simply to release them with respect. You can still love who they were without holding on to who they are now. Let people outgrow you without resentment. And let yourself outgrow others without guilt. That's very hard to do. As humans, we don't like change, you know? But people change. You change. I change. That's part of being alive. Don't get stuck wondering why they left. Just take the lessons, keep your integrity, and move forward. You'll attract people who fit where you're headed, not where you were. And I think that that is the hardest thing in life, is that the world doesn't revolve around you. Every other person out there is trying to find happiness in life. And sometimes you are not the one that brings them happiness. And you can't fault them for that. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you did anything wrong either. So don't feel guilty. You know, just because you haven't heard from somebody in a long time doesn't mean you burn the bridge and say, fuck you. Just let it be what it is. You know what I mean? If your paths come back together in the future, they do. If not, doesn't take away from the experiences that you had with them. I hope that helped. So thank you so much for watching. My name is Seth. If you got something out of this video, please like, comment, subscribe. Because I drop videos like this every single week. And I go live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're still doom scrolling, check out one of these videos over here, because I'm sure it's right up your alley. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. All right, chat. Boom. Second topic done. Second topic done. What do y'all think? I'd love to hear what you think of that. You have anybody in your life that used to be your bestie? Oops, sorry about hitting the mic. Anybody in your life that used to be your bestie and now you don't, necessarily hear from them every day, but nothing technically happened. You didn't have a falling out. You just sort of outgrew each other. You know? Does that happen to any of you? It's part of life. Especially as you get older and people move around and, have families and all that stuff. Flip the old music back on. Boom. Excuse me. Yeah. So those are the two topics tonight. First topic, again, we're talking about building trust with somebody. Not necessarily rebuilding trust in that person, but more like building trust after you've been burned by other people. And allowing somebody new to prove that they're not going to burn you. That was the first topic. Second topic, people change. Life goes on. Don't need to take it as an insult. Keep it moving. Earlier in the stream too, we watched some React videos. I think I have one more React video that I want to react to and talk about as we wrap this stream up. And again, if you like the stream, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, because that way when I go live, you'll actually get a notification. You can kind of not miss anything. Oh yeah, and be sure that if you're on the horizontal version, make sure you you do the poll. I like once I realize that I can make polls, they're only gonna get more ridiculous. That's a fact. Actually gained 5 more subscribers since we've been live, which is pretty sweet. 1805. Reading a comment somebody posted. God, people are idiots. Let me just tell you that. So I posted a video that was basically about being protective of your time and not always feeling like you have to show up to an event just because somebody invited you, right? Like, don't feel guilty about it. If you don't want to go, don't feel guilty about saying no, because we only are on this planet once, so spend it doing what you really want to do and not what you are feeling required to do, right? That was the whole point of the video. And this fucking idiot. I have such little patience for morons, but this is like what this is their comment to that video, that message. They said, hold on. So if someone invites you to something, they are trying to guilt you into something. You have already assigned anyone who wants to share something with you as if they are the bad ones for inviting you to something. It's always the people, I wish I could hold this up. It's always the people that have some sort of little anime or cartoon figure as their profile picture on YouTube. I swear to God, they're all just Reddit users. It's like Reddit is like plugged into their brain. They're like, I must extrapolate on everything. And I must always act. I must always be offended. I must always be offended. Like, how they got that, I have no idea. So then I like to troll them, but I have to be like, you know, I have to be politically correct and nice. I don't need any bans. But God, it's like it's just this certain type of person. And all I can say is they're from Reddit. That's all I can say. You know, they're always looking to be offended. They're always looking to take like the counter argument or be the contrarian with everything. And they always have some sort of anime icon or a little cartoon picture as their like profile picture. And I guarantee you their mom took a lot of Tylenol. They're probably sponsored by it. Maybe that'll be my... Dude, that'll be my comment. I'm going to comment that back. This is going to be my comment. I think I need to take more Tylenol to get on your level and understand how you came to that conclusion. I need to be able to spell. Watching that conclusion after watching that. But said, I think I need to take more Tylenol to get on your level and understand how you came to that conclusion after watching that. Boom. Oh, man. People. You gotta roast them sometimes, you know? Let them know. What is this song? God. Sounds horrible. All right, so I think next I have one more video to watch and to like react to and talk about. So we'll bang that out, and then I don't know, maybe I'll play some games. Depends if people are still watching and chatting and all that stuff. We'll kind of, you know, play it by ear. So let me kill the music. Boom. Boom. All right, so this is Emily. She has a channel which is phenomenal. Out of all of like the women influencers in the male space, to talk about like men's issues and stuff like that, I think I relate to her the most. She has like the best takes in my opinion. So she's reacting to like this TikTok video, I'm assuming here, and it says the title of the video is "Woman Steals His Pizza and Says It Was Just a Joke." So let's see how it goes.
Get paid for it. Go to the goddamn window, buy your own pizza. This is for my sister's wedding. Okay?
He's clearly intoxicated.
Yeah. We don't need
It was gonna be a joke.
We got a review? What's the review?
That was.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Let's start off the story right, and that is with a good title. This is going to be the woman that stole the piece of pizza with the evidence in her hand saga. And she says that it's just a joke.
Okay.
Okay, if you guys missed this on my shorts video, I did a reaction already about this. And basically what I said is that this woman is holding the slice of pizza, the evidence in her hand, as this guy is like having a pretty strong reaction. Like,
he's definitely having a strong reaction because he's intoxicated. Not saying that he doesn't have a, not that he's not justified to have a strong reaction, but he appears to be drunk, right? So he's probably a little bit more animated and whatnot. Says the pizza was for his sister's wedding or from his sister's wedding or something like that.
he's obviously a little bit tipsy, but
okay.
It's
Glad I
valid.
wasn't the only one.
Like, him having a problem with what she just did is 100% valid.
Yeah.
And then she tries to just say, oh, it was just a joke, which is so aggravating.
It is aggravating because you're trying to like take away all accountability. It'd be like if I went into a store, tried to steal something, and then they caught me and I was like, oh, bro, it was just a joke. It was just a joke that I was trying to steal this. It wouldn't change anything. I would still have to face the consequences of stealing something. Unless I lived in California, and then it would be like, whatever.
For even me watching. But I think that this is something that a lot of men experience, because this is a woman that does not take accountability. Instead of taking accountability, she deflects it
100%.
as a joke.
100%.
Clearly, it is not a joke.
Right.
That is essentially all I had to say on the topic until the woman in this video ended up on my page commenting. And yes, I'm going to show you the comment because the comment
is what led to me finding her, the original poster. I had actually seen the first video off of like somebody else's post. I didn't even see it on her page.
I love
believe.
it.
So her comment led me to her page, which there she had a much longer explanation of what had actually occurred.
Oh, yes.
And she was
I'm sure
essentially, you know, defending herself and defending her actions.
Yeah.
So
She's like, it's totally justified. I was hungry.
Comment now. Here it is. This is what she said. Hi, Emily. This is me. Angel emoji, angel emoji. I was at a pizza place and it was my own pizza. Multiple people had their own pizza. After I read her comment, honestly, I was like, oh no, like, did I read this wrong? What did I get wrong? Now I need to like check this out. But before I did that, I saw the comments under her comment, and this one pulled my attention. And this was a guy saying, so now it's your pizza, but you admitted in the follow-up video it was a slice of his. Seems to me you are pizza there who simply can't handle accountability. Just stop before you make the whole internet hate you more.
Oh man, it's all over a slice of pizza, but it's so much more than pizza, right? Because I don't even know the full story here, but basically it seems like this woman was entitled and she was like, I'm a woman, so therefore I can just take whatever I want from a man and he should be happy to give a pretty woman like me something, right? That's the problem. He doesn't owe you a slice of pizza. The world does not owe pretty women a slice of pizza. And it's the fact that it's like just taken for granted that she could just step on his boundaries, violate him in a way, take something that is his or somebody else's and just be like, well, what are you going to do? Like, I deserve this. Like, I'm a pretty woman, you know?
You guys, the follow-up video, first of all, it's a little hard to follow. Just hang in there with me. It's 2 minutes long and it's definitely hard to follow. She's not the best storyteller, but I think that she adds in a lot of details because what she did was wrong. It was not her pizza. But listen to the way that she doesn't really fully admit that.
Oh, God.
She won't admit that she stole the pizza, but she also doesn't clearly say that it was her pizza like she did in my comment. All right, before I say more, let's watch the video and I'll give you guys my opinion after.
Story time. I did not steal any pizza. I was out with a friend. We were staying at the same hotel as this wedding party, and we were all at the bars as they were closing, obviously. And the wedding party, we had met. The bride and groom were very sweet. The groom and I were talking. He was British. That was the second marriage. It was great.
None of this matters.
There was like 6 people left from the wedding there. We all realized we were staying at the same hotel, and we started walking back. The brother comes up with 3 boxes of pizza to this bar. Then he hands them all out. So my friend and I are eating a piece of his pizza, but it wasn't stolen. It was given to us, and we're all walking and talking back to the hotel, talking to the bride and groom, maybe a best man. He's in the background of the video with his lovely girlfriend, and my friend in the middle eating pizza.
All this is irrelevant.
And as we walk by the pizza place,
do you notice how she's like throwing in all of these details that are like very like they're basically describing emotions that were very nice. This is that. Yeah. Lovely. Yada, yada. None of that fucking matters. None of that matters.
That pizza was from, people sitting outside waiting for pizza asked how it was, and that's when I was being silly and probably shouldn't have, but I said 1 bite, everybody knows the rules, and pretended to start to do a review. And then at that time, other people had sat down. The brother was sitting there. I noticed with a few other people, the bride, my friend, and everyone were talking, and I just realized that if I was going to do a true review, I needed to walk out of the pizza place with a box and, you know, do the whole skit. Immature, I know. I had a weekend away, judge me. And I saw the empty box with my recent friends. We'd been hanging out for like an hour. We're all walking back safely and friendly to the hotel. And I saw an empty box, so I just was like, grabbed it, and then the next video happened. The bride came up seconds later and was very apologetic. We still walked back with them and saw them in the morning at breakfast. So I think the guy brother was very excited, little overserved. So was I guess. But fun weekend out.
First of all, it is clear that that brother's reaction was completely valid. I'm trying to picture the whole scene, right? Like, it is your sister's wedding, and there's these random people like hanging out with you afterwards. I feel like that is the type of setup.
That girl or that woman spent a lot of time trying to paint the picture that her and her friend were so friendly with this wedding party that basically they were like one of them. You know what I mean? That's the angle I feel like she was, going for. It was like this pizza was for the wedding, but we talked to the bride and groom and we liked them and they liked us. So therefore, like, we practically were invited to the wedding, which means we basically can eat this pizza, It's like the same.
Where people are kind of like trying to include themselves, but you're also trying to be nice and trying not to be like, dude, like, go away. We don't need you here. And then they were including themselves in the pizza as well, because who handed you the piece of pizza? I could just imagine like the pizza was laid out and the pizza is intended for people that they know, people that were in the wedding. It's not intended for you. Even if it's laid out in front of you, it doesn't mean that it's for you. The thing that should have happened is you just recognizing that it's not meant for you and you don't take pizza. Like, you maybe.
Absolutely. She literally should have just said, I overstepped my bounds. I was drunk. Everybody was drunk. I was friendly with the party, and so I thought like, hey, everybody's eating pizza. I'm one of the crew now. I deserve this pizza. She should have just said, my bad. I think probably also the drunk brother thought that she had a whole box of pizza and was leaving with the whole box of pizza. The empty box, which that's going to be pretty hard to prove if it was empty or not. You like my shirt combo, Lex? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I have a whole bunch of these flannels now.
You can still talk to everyone and hang out with them, but you don't take their pizza, or you go yourself and get your own pizza and then join back in. You don't assume that you can just take that. I guess the next step, which I think is still kind of bold, is to go up to the one that got the pizza, that brought it over, which was that brother, and you go and you ask him, hey, I know you like brought this for everyone that you know, like, do you mind if I have a piece? That would have been the next thing to do. Although I myself personally, I would not do that. I think that you're still being pretty bold. And then the third thing, the last thing, would be in the recovery, the recognition that what you did caused a reaction, a negative reaction from the man that bought the pizza.
You know what I mean?
You taking accountability for that. Because, maybe, again, you didn't make the best choices and you reflected and said, oh, yeah, that was immature. But guess what? That means that you are recognizing to some sort of level that what you did was not the best decision. Yeah. So the next third step would have been to recognize that, take accountability, and just say, my bad, I'm sorry. Like, that's all that was required. But instead...
Yeah, because it literally is, it's just a piece of pizza, but it's the principle behind it where she felt she was entitled to the piece of pizza just because she existed, I guess. And then the fact that she, like, kind of acted like the other guy was overreacting, and I think he was ramped up because he was drunk, and so it was a little bit much, you know what I mean? But at the same, like, I'd be pissed too if it was like his sister's wedding and he brought this pizza to like a bunch of people, like, hang out, and then I see some random girl like walking out with one of the boxes eating a slice. I'd be like, whoa, who are you? Like, why are you taking our pizza? No big deal, but Jesus.
You did the opposite of taking accountability. You deflected.
Alcohol absolutely makes every situation worse.
It wasn't just a joke. And then on top of that, you kind of acted like it was the man's fault for like getting aggressive towards you,
Yes,
and you sort
aggressive.
of showed him in this light. You almost effectively put this man in a bad light, when in reality what he did was completely valid. What he said was valid.
Have fun, Lex.
When you kind of backed off and retracted from him.
Don't make
he backed
alcohol
off, right? And he
make
said,
something
okay.
bad.
Obviously, he was a little tipsy, but that doesn't
Don't steal any pizza
invalidate
either.
what he was saying. What he was saying was completely valid. He should have a problem with that, and you should respect that, and you should just apologize. But instead, you ended up posting this on social media, and I think that the expectation was there that you would get some sort of like nice comments in the comment section of like, oh my God, like how dare he was so aggressive, he overreacted. That is not completely what happened. And I think that people could see through the excuses and they saw the truth of the situation. What's your answer, guys? Leave it in the comment section. Let me know. I am going to leave you with one last video before we close this discussion. And this is, I think, the latest video that she ended up posting.
It's like pizza.
And to celebrate 1 million views, I think I'm gonna get myself some pizza.
I mean, at least she's getting her own pizza, I'm assuming. She doesn't have the money in her hand, but hopefully she's learned somewhat of a lesson and she's paying for her
freaking
own
gross.
pizza. Guys, let me know what you think about this.
Yeah, so that's so annoying. It's so annoying because, like, I think something is just like, it's like, in a way, we have been, in a way, most of us have been, like, protected by true, like, violence, by true aggression, in this country at least. And so when a man like raises his voice, it's like, oh, what are you doing being so aggressive? Like, how dare you? It's like, no, that's not aggression. We've like lost that calibration of what actual aggression is and what actual violence is. I saw fucking something the other day. Emma Watson, or whatever her name is, the Harry Potter girl, was saying that encouraging young people to get married is a form of violence. What are you talking about? Stop changing the definition of words. Like, that is not violence. Don't even call it violence. Call it something else. Call it, like, you know, unnecessary pressure or whatever. But to act like that is violence, I can tell she's never been punched in the face. Because someone who has had violence enacted on them knows that your grandparents wanting you to get married is not violence. Having your nose broken is violence. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? Like, it's so obnoxious. It's so obnoxious, and I think most people are sort of like eye rolling because we're like, oh my God, the extreme language. Like, oh my God. Like, you know, it's just like, it's just too much, you know? And so it's like, you know, in some cultures and in some places, you steal a man's pizza and he might literally punch you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that that's good or it should happen or whatever, but I guarantee you in those places, people don't just walk around taking somebody's pizza. You know what I mean? Like, because there's actual consequences, but we don't have any consequences anymore over here. And on top of that, attractive women have even less like social consequences for their actions. They have their own set of issues that they have to deal with, you know, that it's different from men. But as a man, like, we pretty much navigate life always knowing that there is a threat of violence. Like, when we meet a new man and we're like, hey, how you doing? Or whatever, we're like subconsciously sizing them up to know if an altercation happens, you know, is this a guy to look out for? Is he on my side? You know, do I trust him to be behind me in a sketchy situation? We're always like calculating that. And we know that there's always a threat of violence with what we say. If we say something to the wrong person, we might get our nose broke. Society doesn't have any rules that say that it's not okay to hit men. You know what I mean? Like, women have that ability where 9 times out of 10, they can say whatever they want. And there's, you know, most females don't fight and most men aren't going to hit a woman. So they could just free range say whatever they want with no consequences. Men have never had that existence. That's not reality for us. If I talk shit to the wrong man, or if I take the wrong man's pizza, there's consequences. And it might not just be legal. Legal might be a thing, but it also might be, I might get hurt, you know? So therefore, I'm always thinking about what I should say, what I should not say, what I should do, what I should not do. You know? It's crazy. Crazy. All right. I think we're going to wrap it up there. That's this week's stream. Appreciate you all stopping in, chatting, watching. Love it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Share with all your friends. Helps the channel out a lot. Let's see where we're at right now. We gained three more subscribers. So we going up, baby. Again, thank you so much. Appreciate you. See you next week. Live stream Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just like always.